What's going on, guys? It is MurderInc here, back with another Raid Shadow Legends video. Today we are going to talk about the beast of a legendary named Fushan. He is a lizardman. Let's take a quick look at him. I'm really excited to show you this. A lot of people said, Murder, can you build a Fushan? And I said, absolutely. I've been waiting for this just to see if there was any last minute tweak and add to him in the rebalance patch. I wasn't expecting it since he's strong, but he is underrepresented and not used a lot by people. But I definitely want to go over how good this champion can be. As you can see here, I have 196 speed, 297 crit damage, 5.5 thousand attack. I elected not to go with accuracy since I don't think that's where he shines the most. Quick rundown of his skills if you're watching for fun and don't really know about this champion. His A1 is the key here, having a 25% chance of placing an extra hit. Basically, this guy can be a machine gun with his A1 because it's a 25% chance and it doesn't end after the first hit. That extra hit also has a 25% chance, which is a little bit unique to a lot of skills because a lot of them, even though the tooltip doesn't actually explain that, it ends the chance as soon as that extra hit happens. So this guy can be an absolute machine gun, as I just said. We have an A2, it's a double hit AoE, having a 20 up to a 35% chance of placing a stun for one turn on every single enemy. And the A3 here, using a tooltip I'm not really fond of, attacking 4 times at random, really good against single target, possibly good against 2 targets, but once you get more than 2 targets, I'm really not a fan of how random it is when it can just hit any champion, or 2 or 3 hits can go to one champion and 1 hit can go to a different champion. This does apply the strong defense down, so that is cool. It only has a 75% chance to land, along with being a 3-turn cooldown. Now another bonus to Fushan is he has a 24% speed aura, which is really unique. I'm pretty sure he's the only damage dealing champion with the speed aura this powerful out of the entire game. So there's a lot of benefit to him. If you haven't been using him properly, throw him into a speed team for clan boss, throw him into dungeons. He's going to do work for you. Before we get into the clan boss, I do want to do one dragon run just to see what his damage actually looks like with the defense down when we get in all of these other buffs. Then we'll get into clan boss and watch this machine gun in action. So starting off in our dragon run here, let's put this on manual. Once we get into this dungeon, we have the attack up buff from Arbiter, followed by that defense down and weaken, increased crit damage, and this is really stacking up Fushan to do a ton of damage. Let's take a look at his A2 first, keeping in mind he is in clan boss talents, so there's no flawless executioner or helm smasher for that additional damage. Let's see how much his AoE does. I'm pretty sure his A1 is going to hit the hardest, but let's just take a look here. So 81 to about 68,000 per hit, definitely viable as a wave clear, especially since he is in clan boss talents. Now we can just kind of cycle through this. There's not going to be a defense down and weaken. So let's see what his A3 does. Once again, 13 to 16,000. Nothing too impressive for not having a defense down and weaken there. Now we're going to see his A1. Let's see if it actually double hits here. So it only procced once there, so that wasn't the best example. But I'm really looking forward to getting back into this with... Okay, let's increase our crit damage here. Now let's hit Tyrell here with this A1 with defense down and weaken, attack up, and increase crit damage. See what we can do. 118,000 damage, so really cool to see. Now, usually on longer fights, once against a boss, this is the more likely chance for us to see Fushan really shining here. Unless Xavia one-shots the boss, which it looks like he's not going to get a chance to do. So after that run, now we can see the recap. Even though we did kind of set things up for someone like Dracomorph and Fushan to do a ton of damage, Fushan actually did more damage than Xavia, than Dracomorph, so he's an absolute powerhouse. This is 6-star, let's see if it's any good. Crit rate, HP, speed, crit damage. Actually, I'm not going to sell this. Probably the first time you guys have ever seen me not instantly sell a piece of gear while I'm doing a YouTube video. So today is going to be a day full of firsts that I can guarantee you. Now let's take a look at Fushan in the clan boss here. We're using a 2-to-1 speed ratio. Not the most efficient team since using Alton without another defense up is going to desync the stun, so I did have to swap it off of auto a few times just to reset cooldowns. But the main point here is Fushan's going to do a ton of damage, Draco's going to do a ton of damage. They're going to die very early, so the point's going to be get as much damage as possible in before the clan boss starts one-shotting everybody. And hopefully while we're doing this run, we'll be able to see Fushan completely pop off with his A1, blocking that extra hit multiple times. One cool thing about his extra hit is that each extra hit actually has the chance to proc War Master, which is going to be absolutely huge going forward. And although it isn't consistent, it has the potential to do a ton of damage. And with that point, this is something that's really important to know about Fushan. If you want to use him looking for a consistent clan boss champion, he isn't going to be that champion for you. That's the unfortunate part, and I want to say that's his only downside, apart from my kind of bias to the attacking enemies at random with that A3. The problem with Fushan is going to prove to be that if he's not proccing multiple times with his A1, the swing and threshold of his damage is going to be the most insane out of, I honestly want to say and can comfortably say, of any other champion in the entire game of Raid. No other champion, as we saw there, he just had a double proc on his A1, but no other champion really has that opportunity to do so much damage or so little damage. Once again, his A1 just procced 3 times there. So if that happens enough times in one run, doesn't happen at all in the second run, you can kind of see what I'm talking about by this huge swing in RNG, where your key damage can be kind of night and day from each other as time progresses. Once again, we did just see another double hit there coming out of Fushan. So while I've been going over this, I haven't really figured out in my head what the best clan boss team for this type of champion is going to be. He has a lot of utility. If you really want to break it down, building him defensive, not worrying too much about his raw damage, even though he offers nothing besides a defense down, you can definitely pair him with someone like a Turvold, who's another extremely hard-hitting damage-dealing champion. And you have the defense down and weaken covered between those two champions. A big benefit you can use with someone like Fushan is building him with pure survivability, strictly relying on all of his extra hits from that A1. It's going to add up over time, especially if I used him in a comp like I did with Razin, where I did 100 million damage without any type of poisoning champion. If I can get Fushan to live for maybe 50 rounds, the amount of damage he's going to do, even if built with full survivability, is going to be very high, simply because of those extra hits that he's going to be using on every single counterattack and on every single A1 ability usage. Obviously, if you wanted to min-max, you would have to manual this. The same can be said for pretty much any champion. They're always going to have one skill that hits much harder than the others, and not using those other skills is going to increase your damage. But I don't really like to talk about manual because, let's be honest, as much as we like the immersive gameplay that Raid Shadow Legends does offer us, this is an auto-only game. Outside of theory crafting, there's not much more to it than that. So this is definitely going to be a cool run to watch. I'm going to let this run for a little bit, and we're going to skip ahead to see which round we actually make it to and what our final recap looks like. So we survived until round 32. Now 53.93 million damage in Ultra Nightmare in 32 rounds is extremely high. As we can see here, from Alton we have 9.2 million damage, 13.6 from Fushan, which is absolutely insane. Like I said, lots of RNG to be had there, so could be much higher, could be a bit lower. You did not get lucky in this round. 19 million damage from Dracomorph in full damage gear, Valkyrie at 6 million, and Mashald at 5.9 million. So Fushan, if you're not using him already, you want a speed leader to reduce the speeds of all your team, regardless if you're using a counterattack team or anything like that. This is definitely an opportunity, and that's kind of something I've never talked about since there's so few champions that offer a good speed leader. If you want to run your typical 191 speed to 202 or 203 speed counterattack team, you can absolutely use a speed leader, calculate the difference, and you can end up running that same exact team, using that speed aura to your benefit, opening up a whole new world of gear to you as the player with those minimal requirements in the actual speeds the champions need. Really quickly thinking about it, if you wanted to run the lowest speed setup for a counterattack that's possible in Ultra Nightmare, it's going to be 171 to 179 speed. Add someone like Fushan, add someone like Duchess, throw in that speed leader. Now you're going to have to start calculating, is losing a defense aura based on which champion you have worth giving everybody defense boots, getting rid of some speed sets on people, replacing it with more beneficial sets to you, whether it's dealing damage or surviving longer. So these are always things you have to weigh, and I like adding points like that into videos like this because it's not something most people are going to think about on their own. So using a video like this, taking this attack-based champion, saying, look at his aura, look what he can do, but also think about what his aura can do on his own, since so few champions have a high aura of 24% speed in all battles that can be used in the clan boss. Alright guys, that concludes my video today for Fushan. While I did only go over clan boss and a little bit into dungeons, kind of just showing you his potential, he's absolutely a beast in the arena. He has that double hit potential, so pretty much any Rotos or any team that's not covered by a shield or has their shield stripped is going to have a really rough time against someone like Fushan. Have seen him in Platinum before, I'm sure many of you have seen him in Gold. He's a really strong champion, does a ton of damage with the ability to stun people. I'm a huge fan of this guy. He's kind of like Raidzilla with that Godzilla vibe going on, so really cool champion. Give me your thoughts, and as always, thanks a bunch for watching. If you like this content, don't forget to subscribe, turn on that notification bell, and I will see you all in the next upload.